All right, let's dive in with straight into this thing with the elephant in the room that I think both you and I are feeling after this weekend. Yeah. That we've been afraid to say, right? We've been sort of edging, and now we're kind of full-blown gooning into this thing at this point, where it's just kind of like, I guess, I really could use the last couple of seasons with the NFL, but I want to stick it to just right here, right now, and keep it simple, keep it funky.
Yeah.
Has the NFL delivered on its promise from a marketing perspective this year?
Not even kind of. Not even a little bit. Not even.
Dive in head first.
I can't even begin to tell you how much 5 weeks in or 4 weeks in now, I have been disappointed with this product. It has been unwatchable at times. The teams we were promised that are going to be great have been lackluster. The rookies that were promised were going to be generational don't look good 4 weeks in. And the teams that are supposed to be bad are kind of good. And the teams that are supposed to be kind of good are kind of bad. I don't know. Let's
go through it. Let's just roll this thing all the way down the hill and come from everybody.
This is straight rant. This is not your breakdown video. This is not anything that you've ever gotten from us before. This
Don't deserve it.
Unfiltered and honest. No, hell no.
Don't deserve it.
It's bullshit.
We spent all summer breaking down and analyzing and doing all this shit. And to be honest with you, this product, these coaches, these players, these marketing teams, whatever facet of it you want to focus on, don't deserve me coming on here or you coming on here, or even those of you who are making like real cheddar off this, like the big pages. What like?
Yeah, fuck you too, by the way.
Yeah,
you liars, you fucking liars.
Radio, fuck you. Ooh. Yeah. I guess for me, because we're gonna ping pong this thing.
Sure.
I want to start with the really obvious part of this that I think is affecting the product. Besides fundamentally, these teams don't look ready to play 4 weeks in still every Sunday. Which, by the way, why is that okay? Like, let me just piggyback. Let me just nitpick one game that I just saw this past weekend between New York and Denver as an example of this. 10-9, Broncos win over the Jets.
Yep.
Hey, Jets, fuck you. How's that?
Fully fuck
And I got
you.
my Twin Towers John on today, so I feel comfortable saying that, honestly.
Yeah.
Never forget. I wish I could forget that game, to be honest.
Yeah.
That was hot ass. The fact that you guys had a long week to prepare, it was monsooning in New York, and you threw the ball, wait for it, 50 times in that game. What are you doing? Run the ball. Win the game. Why can't this team, and this is my fundamental issue, this is the first part of the leg of this parlay here that we're gonna pop off, because I know you got some things to say too.
I do.
Why the hell is there no continuity week to week on how these offenses look? 1 week, New York's back. They played pretty well on Thursday Night Football against the New England Patriots. And it's not competition. Yeah. Denver's whatever. It's not great defense, right? You and I talked about this in the past. Growing up, we had the Pittsburgh defense with Troy Polamalu and James Harrison, right? And those cats, Larry Foote. We had the Baltimore defense with Ed Reed and Ray Lewis. Those guys disrupted, even like the Colts, right? With Dwight Freeney and Bob Sanders and those boys. Like, we had those generational defenses, and that's what it was. It was great defense. It was heavy hits, hard hits, fundamental defense, and, all over the field, whether it's Patriots, all these guys, right? This is not great defense. This is bad offense. And the fact that none of these teams, whether it's Dallas, whether it's Cincinnati, whether it's Baltimore, whether it's Buffalo, whether it's any of these teams, whether it's New Orleans, a team that you and I were not high on that surprised us the first 2 weeks, don't matter. Atlanta, Kansas City, none of these teams have any continuity or any carryover week to week. 1 week, they're good. The next week, they can't complete an out route for the entirety of the game. And the score is 13-7. And you go, well, wait a minute, what the hell's going on? So that's my first gripe that I have to get out of the way right now, is that, simply put, in layman's terms, these teams fucking don't look ready to play. And I don't know what's going on in practice with these with these coaches and these players, but I'm really, really tired of it. Like Brandon Ayuk, San Francisco, right? Your team's injured. Yeah. You spent all off season complaining. You got the money. Wide receiver one money. More money than Randy Moss ever thought about touching. Where are you, bud?
Yeah.
Where are you? That's my first complaint. What say you about this? I mean, do you feel like these teams look prepared ever? Like, as I don't.
No, I think these teams look like shit. I think all these teams look like shit, to be frank with you. I think I think you could go through division by division and figure out what the issue is with every single team. You know what I mean? Like, and they're glaring, right? It's not like it's just like one thing, right? Every year, I mean, let's just take last year, for example, right? Like everybody on earth by week 3 knew the Panthers sucked. It was like, ooh, this might not work. Whether you were in or out on Bryce Young, it didn't matter, because you looked around at the actual like roster of the team, and it was like, nah, this ain't it. They're going to be the worst team in the league, right? The Commanders, very similar. The fire sale at the trade deadline, getting rid of Montez Sweat and Chase Young, and you just knew it wasn't it, right? Sam Howell wasn't it. You rolled out with Sam Howell. It was never going to work. Patriots, right? Bill Belichick's last year, it was kind of a disaster. I feel like Bill kind of blew that up intentionally, opposed to him just not knowing ball anymore. But that's beyond the point, right? Every team, who's the Super Bowl team right now? Who's the team that we all as fans feel confident that, like, ooh, that's probably the team to beat? Because I know the Chiefs are
the unwatchable Kansas City Chiefs, who, by the way, have, wait for it, Case Keenum at quarterback, apparently.
Yeah.
Nick Foles? Is Nick Foles playing quarterback in Kansas City now? Is that, I missed it. I missed it.
No, it's crazy. It's dink and dunk, late stage Patriots football in Kansas City. It's the most boring shit to watch. It's so boring to watch. I mean, they've become an unwatchable team to me. You have the Bills, who look like the best team ever the first 3 weeks, and then go to Baltimore and get absolutely curb stomped as if they're the New England Patriots. Doesn't make any sense to me. Our own Lions don't even show up until week 4 offensively, really. And then, but Taylor's oldest time, our defense just, I mean, whatever they wanted, whatever the Seahawks wanted, they got, because our defense, our secondary looked like Cam Sutton was back out there again. These teams, the Philadelphia Eagles, you have a coaching problem. I told you this beforehand. I told you that your defense sucks. Hey, guess what, guys? Your defense sucks and your coach sucks. So, you know, this high-powered offense, guess what? Everybody's hurt, because everybody has a hamstring injury, don't they? Everybody has a hamstring injury. A.J. Brown tweaked his hamstring in practice, and we haven't seen him in 3 weeks. Devontae Adams tweaked his hamstring in practice, and we have now not seen him in 2 weeks, or he's not going to play this weekend, which is bullshit. You just want to get traded. I know what this is. You don't want to get hurt before your trade value goes down. I know what this is. But why are you forcing yourself out of Vegas when you forced yourself there a couple of years ago? Why did you not go to the front office in Vegas and tell them that when they cut Derek Carr? Why did you not do this?
That was the time.
Why did you not do this? This is a frustrating. The Vikings are the best team in the league. Nobody fuck the Vikings. Who cares about the Vikings? We all know Sam Darnold's going to come back down to earth in 3 weeks, and they're going to be a 7-8 win team. That's just the reality. This isn't a juggernaut. Nobody believes in the Vikings. Seahawks, similarly, right? It's like, oh, Seahawks are 3-0, coming into Detroit and got their absolute teeth kicked in by a real offense. Why are Jaden Daniels and the Commanders the most entertaining shit to watch? Why is the generational prospect in Chicago struggling to make simple reads? Why is the generational product in Carolina getting one quiet touchdown a game, but not ever getting over 40 yards? What is going on in this league? I do not get it.
It reminds me of like sense. You know what? I know this, and by the way, preach, because you know it's funny because I want to use this as a segue to kind of touch on the injury stuff, because I think that's the big thing that I have some theories about and some questions, and I want to get your read on it. But you know what this league reminds me of right now, with like the Vikings and the Commanders like killing it? It's kind of like seeing a movie poster and the cast is being billed like Chris Hemsworth, Ryan Gosling, Brad Pitt. Denzel Washington, and then you get in the movie, and like those guys are all in the movie in the background, but like Tyrese is the lead, and you're like,
fully.
wait, what a minute? Like I'm fine that Tyrese is in this, but I was promised these guys. Like what are we doing? And again, I could take victory laps about saying that Jaden Daniels was the quarterback to have in this draft class, not Caleb Williams, and I feel good about that because I was really high on him, and he looks really good or whatever. But this roster's dog shit. This is not a contending football team. And again, you mentioned it. Part of the reason why we're seeing all these contenders and why, those of you who are consumers of the game, whether it's as fans, whether it's as gamblers or fantasy football players, whatever stretch, you're having a rough go of things because the injury stuff is outrageous. And to put on the tinfoil hat a little bit on this, I'm wondering if this is a PED issue, that maybe there are some and I have no proof of this. This is me totally talking out of my ass, but it's a question, and it's just a question. There's something, all of these injuries seem to be ligament, joint, tissue issues. We're not talking about broken collarbones or broken hands or broken foots or even like, in a lot of these cases, like serious leg breaks or anything like that. This is all like soft tissue, hamstring, knee, ligament stuff. And I'm wondering if these guys are training a certain way or taking something in the off season. And I'm not talking about doing roids like in the 90s, right? Like that's not what I mean. But maybe there's some sort of regiment these guys are on with some of these trainers and this staff. I mean, I've never seen anything like this. Again, we talked about this. Growing up,
Something's funky.
It was unheard of. Like when you drafted a fantasy football team, those guys were in. And like the one guy who Tom Brady broke his leg, like that was an anomaly. Everybody else that year played. Terrell Owens, you said this the other day, played in the Super Bowl with a broken leg. This kind of stuff is like bizarre. Like the fact that we've gotten one AJ Brown game on like a tweaked hamstring and all this stuff, and to circle back into your brilliant point, there's really nothing else I can say about it other than Devontae Adams. I understand that you don't want to be a Raider anymore, but that's what the money's for, Papa. That's what the money's for. That's why they pay you the money, and frankly, that's why we pay the money that we pay to go to these games, to buy. You and I bought League Pass this year. It's fucking expensive. We just took a weekend off and went to go see the Lions at Arizona. That was $1,000 for that game. Yeah. We pay all of this money and all of this time and all of this energy so that these guys can make all this money so they can go do the damn thing. I don't want to hear that you have a sore foot and you're missing 2 weeks now. Forget it. Like, and to be honest with you, I know it's boomer. I know it's old school. Like, we're young guys. We're very much on the side of like pro player. But if this were any other product, if this were some sort of Netflix series that started killing off characters all the time or whatever, and we were paying all this money, again, way more money than we're paying to get Netflix and have access to tons of movies and shows, how many of us would still be watching? I mean, people have forgotten about Hollywood. A movie ticket's $13 to go watch a movie. People are like, I don't really mess with Hollywood anymore. I don't like the product. Movie tickets are $13. HBO Max is what, $13 a month? A month for all that shit? You get to see everything on there. It's nothing. You and I are paying $80 a pop, basically, to get League Pass. $300 game tickets to go see your team ball. And half the roster's not playing, and the other half looks like they didn't practice all week. Cool. Thanks. I guess I'll just wait till next season. I don't know. What are we doing? And I again, if anyone's watching this and is like having a reaction to this, whether it's positive, negative, let us know. I suspect there are people out there that feel this way and are too afraid to speak up. First couple weeks I feel like you and I were playing this game of chicken, you and me, of kind of being like, yeah, I don't know. It's just like everyone looks rusty. Like everything looks off. Like, I don't know. But I'm at the point now where I'm speaking on it, man. Like, I feel like what I'm seeing is like not what I was promised and not what I was marketed and not why I bought in both energetically and financially to this football season. I'm disappointed, man. As a fan, as a consumer, as a ball lover, pause, not feeling it.
Whoa. I think the gambling's gotten out of control, and I think there's too much money in gambling that's watering down this product. I have no proof of that.
Yeah.
I think some of these injuries are sus. I think some of these lines are sus. I think there's money behind the scenes that is going to people at the very, very tippy top, and there's calls being made down low. Again, I have no proof in this.
Yeah.
I've just noticed a correlation of like gambling becoming, universal. You don't have to go to the casino. You don't have to have a bookie. Your bookie is literally right here. It's called FanDuel or MGM or whatever you want. I mean, even like the stuff is like Underdog Fantasy, even all this type of stuff. I've seen a correlation with that stuff rising and this product falling, and I don't know. Again, I'm not some crazy person I'm not Charlie with the wall and all the from It's Always Sunny. Like, it's just.
But you gotta
I've
be.
noticed.
That's where we are now.
The
Why is
correlation
it like
between
this?
these two.
Yeah.
It's very odd. It's just odd, and I mean, dude, you can go through. I mean, I said at the beginning, right? You can go through each division and like, what.
Let's do it.
Like,
Let's
okay,
do it right here.
AFC North. I mean, let's look at it. Like the Bengals. Joe Burrow's playing an out of his mind MVP level. T. Higgins all of a sudden just, I'm hurt. Jamar Chase contract stuff. He looks kind of whatever to begin with. O-line's actually holding up for the first time ever, and their defense is Swiss cheese. There's no defense there. I'm not even sure they have defensive players, right? You go over to the Ravens, and it's like
1-3.
1-3, a team that we thought were supposed to be contenders. All right, healthy Burrow, bet. Let's do this. 1-3, that's how you start. They started 0-3, actually. They just finally beat the Panthers last weekend, who actually fully hung in there. You have, Ravens, they're 2-2 and could very easily also be 1-3 if they would have let the Cowboys come back and win that game. But then you get people going on TV like Colin Cowherd and Mia Kimes saying this is the best team in football. What the fuck? They were barely a good team a week ago. I mean, they were arguably a bad team. Yeah, Kay Adams. I'm sorry. Same thing though, right? It's the media talking heads regurgitating the same bullshit. Oh, this is the best team in football now. Well, yeah, it's the best team in football when Derrick Henry can turn back the clock and run for 200 yards. Absolutely, I totally agree. But how often is that going to happen? Because we've seen 4 games, and in 2 games he hasn't done it, and they've lost soundly.
We saw it last year, though. This team was the best team in football last year. What really became of it? Like, I mean, we've seen this before. We've seen the Baltimore Ravens come out, punch you in the mouth, play downhill, take over a ball game, and play bully ball. We've seen it in Baltimore. We've seen it in Dallas. Are they the best team in the league? They're 500. Browns are unwatchable.
Browns are completely unwatchable. Deshaun Watson, it's time to get him out the league.
It's over. They gave Deshaun Watson, I believe, $250 million, all guaranteed. Is that correct? Am I right about that figure?
He's insanely washed.
$250 million, not a starter in this league.
At this point, you should just put Jameson. That's your best chance of winning. I mean, Browns offensive football is unwatchable right now. You guys better pray to God that Nick Chubb's leg is okay, because it's unwatchable right now. Your quarterback can't make a play happen. He's not a playmaker. Yeah. That's what was so good about him in Houston. He was like this really great playmaker. He was never he never had the biggest arm or the craziest accuracy or could thread the smallest needle. I mean, he was a playmaker, and he can't do that anymore. Steelers, you're going to do it again, aren't you? You're going to do it again, you fuckers. You're going to do it again. You're going to go win 9-10 games and get fucking popped in the first round of the playoffs, but you guys are going to have your winning record, so it won't matter. And what do we do about Justin Fields and Russell Wilson? You move off of both of them. They both are mid. Yeah. What are we doing here? You know what I mean? Yeah. You're not making
But again,
it
I mean, it's not an interesting storyline.
Does George Pickens have a touchdown this season?
No, I don't think so. And I mean, the storyline we were promised in that division was Baltimore's dominant, Lamar MVP, Derrick Henry, blah, 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 blah. The Bengals, T. Higgins, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, 2-2, 1-3. Don't give a shit. Nice guy, don't give a shit. Like, it's just like what, like, and again, like, that's a lot of laundry we're throwing around as gamblers, as consumers, as ticket purchasers.
for a product to be dog shit, for a product to be not watchable.
Keep going though,
Not
because I can do this
watchable.
with every team. We're
Sure.
getting none of what we're promised.
Let's go to what I deem to be the worst division in football, the AFC South. I mean, there's three
Okay.
teams in that division who are also unwatchable, right?
The
I mean,
only
you have-
0-4 team in the league is in that division. And by the way, it's the
Jags.
Jags.
We're supposed to. The Jags were the 1 seed last year at a certain point through 10 weeks. They were the 1 seed. They were cooking with gas. Trevor Lawrence looks like he does not know how to play football. He looks like he's completely in the doghouse, if you will, with like Doug Peterson. Like he's nervous around him. He's trying too hard. He's playing so stiff right now. We've seen Trevor Lawrence be great. We've seen these generational traits that we were promised for years and years and years. We saw him go down by 4 touchdowns in a playoff game and throw 4 picks and then come back and throw 4 tutties and win that game fully. That's what we've seen. We know what you can do when your back's up against the wall. We watched it happen. And then we watched you take another step the next year and go and be the best team in football through 10 weeks. And now you guys look completely inept. You look
$300 million, no
inept.
refunds.
I mean, what are we doing? Will Levis, we were wrong. You suck. Get out of the league, guy. You get out of the.
Well, they
get out of the league.
they started off 0-3. They finally won a game with, wait for it, Mason fucking Rudolph playing quarterback. So their first win came against we'll get to that team in a minute, but the Miami Dolphins on the back of Mason Rudolph. So actually Will Levis is 0-3 and the Titans are still unwatchable. Congratulations.
They're still unwatchable.
Thanks a lot.
Is this what Tony Pollard signed up for? Is this what DeAndre Hopkins signed up for? Is this what Tyler Boyd signed up for? Or Calvin Ridley signed up for?
Nope.
Like this is almost unfair.
Is this what the people in Nashville who bought season tickets signed up for?
Hell no. This is we talked about it preseason. Like Will Levis has special in him, but he's got to put it together. He hasn't put it together. It's 3 weeks. He doesn't look like he can play quarterback. So you move off of him. And then, like you said, Mason Rudolph. It's like, what are you doing? We have to watch Mason Rudolph the rest of the year? That's unfair. You guys didn't draft anybody? Yeah. No, it's real.
But there's another team that you didn't get what you were promised. So chalk that off the list.
Do you mean the Colts?
Joe Flacco time.
Joe Flacco time, baby. Because Anthony Richardson can't stay healthy, and he might also suck.
Your defense
I think he
sucks.
might suck. Your defense sucks. Your
Jonathan Taylor's banged up again, by the way. That happened really fast. Good.
Yeah, I think your quarterback sucks, which is the worst part because I actually like your weapons core. I like
coach.
I love your coach. I like AD Mitchell. I like Josh Downs. I like Michael Pittman. I like Jonathan Taylor. I don't know if I like Anthony Richardson. I don't know if he's good. We're in year 2 now. I mean, he's played 8 games.
Yeah.
I know that's a small sample size.
We were promised excitement.
We've gotten
one
excitement.
throw.
There's one. Yeah, there's the 70-yard throw.
Yeah.
And a lot of since then.
Yeah.
And
let's also tell the truth about the team that is dominating the division. The only team that showed up this year, a boring watch. Like Jacksonville pooped their pants in the fourth quarter. You should have lost that game. CJ Stroud looks like he's regressed. Nico Collins is kind of carrying that team offensively. I know Stephon Diggs is there, and that's worked. Tank Dell, who was a player we were excited about. Oh, wait, he's banged up. Nothing burger.
Hasn't looked like
Joe
he's
Mixon hurt all season so far. We got 1 game from him, and he looked really good to his credit, but that's all we've gotten. Looks like we're coming into week 5. He might be back in the lineup. We'll see. The defense sucks. The defense has gotten dog-walked in multiple games. In Houston. That was a defense we were super high on with Will Anderson, with Stingley. I mean, they ran them out of Minnesota. They just got they let up a ton of points to Jacksonville and didn't look clean. This defense, this Houston team, Jacksonville
should have won that game.
Of course, the Jacksonville Jaguars should be 3-1. They can't finish. They literally give games away in the fourth quarter, and it's Trevor Lawrence air mailing third down passes time and time again, missing receiver. Like they should have ran away with that game. Houston sucked on Sunday. I watched the game, and it's the same story. But yes, I mean, really, like the only team that's showing up out of any 4 of those teams, a division that you and I were super excited about, is the Houston Texans. And they by no means look any better than last year's Texans. I'm sorry, they don't.
No.
And that's not a shot.
I don't even think they look as good as last year's Texans.
Yeah,
Last year's Texans had a little juice. They had a little magic about them. There was expectation this year, and I feel like they feel like they're kind of crumbling under that pressure.
it looks looks flat, but they're winning games. So what can you really say, right?
Yeah.
And more on
No,
that theme
nothing.
later, right? Because as a consumer, like, that's not really what it's about. And this is all coming from the consumer's perspective. I want everybody watching this to go, oh, these guys are breaking down film. They're not. This is about two guys who love football, love the NFL, and bought into the product, looking at this and going, who's really enjoying these games that much? But keep going, because every single team in the league has this issue. It's
AFC East. Like I said earlier, the Bills looked like the clear-cut best team in the league, and Josh Allen was playing at an MVP level out the gate. It was refreshing to see a team that looked like they came ready to fucking play football this year. And a player who is ready to take that next step and be like, nah, you know what? Fuck this. I'm actually the best player in the NFL. I'm sick of you. I know what he does in the playoffs. I know what he's capable of. I'm better than this guy. I'm better than that. I'm better than the Night King. You know what I mean? Like I'm fully slaying him this year. It's not happening. The White Walkers in Kansas City are not doing it this year. And you know what we get? The first big primetime game against another contending team, you look like a peewee fucking team. You look terrible. You don't.
And now Von Miller's suspended, and your linebacking core is injured. So there goes that.
Fully. And it's like, you know, Keon Coleman doesn't look like he can play football at an NFL level. It's questionable at best.
Yeah.
You have, you know, I mean, like, it's so frustrating. You know, go to the Jets, right? I mean, you said it earlier. They're 2-2, but they
unwatchable offensively.
They're unwatchable. I mean, what are you doing?
No continuity week to week. None.
I know everybody hates Nat Hackett, but I'm no offensive coordinator. If it's monsooning, run the football with your all-pro level running back. Why did you not give him the ball? Why are you throwing the ball even
at all?
They have
two running backs.
I know, but why they didn't bother using either of them really? Why? Denver doesn't have a good defense like that.
It's mind-blowing, dude. It's mind-blowing. They passed the ball. I'm looking for the numbers here because it's mind-blowing how many.
Well, look them up because I mean you have an offensive coordinator who has no business running an offense in the NFL.
He threw 42 passes. He was 24 for 42. Braylon Allen, who is their rookie running back, who is a thumper, by the way. This man is huge and is explosive and very good. Carried the ball, wait for it, 8 times for 34 yards.
Yeah, what did Brees run it?
Brees had like 5 yards rushing. Like that's what happened. Garrett Wilson had 3 catches. Mike Williams was their leading receiver on 42 pass attempts with 4 catches and 67 yards. That's what happened. Dude. That's what happened against the Denver Broncos at home. That's what they put on the field.
That's terrible.
2-2.
Yeah, I mean the Dolphins. They look completely inept without Tua. By the way, Tua's mid. Like he doesn't. You can't make anything happen with Skylar Thompson or Tyler Huntley. Like a thing happen.
Well, and let's tell the truth. They look like dog shit with Tua.
They look like dog shit with Tua, but what are we doing? You have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Devon Achane, and there's nothing you can do offensively.
No.
Nothing.
No.
The offensive guru, the
whiz kid.
The whiz kid, you can't do anything. I mean, fuck, go out there and run the Wildcat. I don't care.
No, because that would require
just jet sweep constantly with Tyreek and Jalen Waddle and let them stop you.
No, because that would require putting together a watchable product on Monday Night Football, and that's not allowed.
Oh my God,
that's not allowed. No, you can't do it. So the answer is no. The Dolphins are completely unwatchable until Tua returns, which, by the way, could be in a month. So enjoy that. Enjoy another team on your list that you can't watch because they're unwatchable. I'm telling you, I watched that Monday night game. That was some of the worst football I've ever seen. And even when Tua comes back, what are they really? Another team, we saw them put up 72 points last night. Say whatever you want about this team being fraudulent, and it's a fact. They were fun to watch last season.
Fun to watch.
We're getting none of
Very
that
fun
this
to
year.
watch.
That was part of the marketing campaign, wasn't it now? Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle,
Yeah.
Achane, Tua's back. Tua got paid, by the way. We told you he
Yep.
was one hit away. We told you.
Well, Jalen Waddle got paid. Tyreek Hill got paid.
Tyreek got paid. Yep.
You know,
Your
this
running
is what
back.
we said. This is
Your
what we
veteran
said.
running
We
back
said,
who
look,
led the league in touchdowns last year. He got hurt. We haven't seen him since. He has a chest injury, undisclosed.
Yeah, what is that about?
Take some morphine
his
and pop
chest
in that
injury?
game, Papa.
I swear to God.
What would Jamal Lewis have done? That's where I am with this
Gosh.
stuff. I'm tired of hearing it. I need to be able to watch your team and go, okay, I can at least put it together.
Sure.
Patriots.
I mean, you go to the Patriots. They're the worst team in football. They're not. They're not. Enjoy your week 1 win against the worst defense in football, but you guys are the worst roster in football and show in the last 3 weeks. I mean, you're
And your
not
one
good.
dynamic player, by the way, forgot how to
Keeps
handle
fumbling
the
ball.
football.
Yeah.
And is now leading the NFL in fumbles and fumbles the ball every single game now. So you have nothing. You have nothing on your team.
To your advantage, Patriots fans, if there is any Patriots fans out there still that didn't just follow Brady to Tampa, you do have 2 more weeks until your rookie quarterback can just go in there and lose the rest of the season. You know, you can at least see what you have in that guy. But your coach
I'll tell you what you have. Nothing.
Oh yeah,
Because
nothing.
and it's not because it's nothing against Drake May. That's what we're seeing. That's what we're getting. I'm so ready. I'm so ready for the hype around Drake May entering the lineup and then just doing nothing and watching this team, which is inept offensively, ruin this kid's career before it starts. Have fun.
Yeah.
Good luck, Patriots
Totally.
fans. Hope you kept your receipt for the pro shop because those jerseys aren't going to
100%.
hold much value. That number 10 jersey is going to age like the previous number 10 jersey, and it ain't his fault.
No, it's not his fault. It's
Yeah.
not his fault. Go to the AFC West. The Chiefs are gonna dink and dunk their way to a division title in the playoffs, and then do what the Chiefs do. They want the three-peat, but they're playing scared. They're playing soft football. They're playing very cautious. Let's keep everybody, healthy and tons of stamina type football. It's weird, but it's not working either, right? It's like Pacheco got hurt, Rice got hurt.
Brown before the season
Brown,
started.
yeah, that's right. Brown got
Another
hurt before
team,
the season
another
started.
offense. By the way, we were promised that we were not getting. If you're a Kansas City fan or a Kansas City bandwagoner, I mean, I understand. I think there are both. There's like Taylor Swift bandwagon. There's like a bunch of people who love the Chiefs. And I believe there are like true Kansas City fans who have been there through everything, real Missourians, right?
That's every
Yeah,
fan
right.
base.
But again, let's not pretend like the draw of the Kansas City Chiefs coming off a Super Bowl, the GOAT. By the way, the GOAT who has been unwatchable for 2 regular seasons in a row now. The GOAT who has been horrible to watch and doesn't look like he really is giving any effort. I mean, I can name 8 quarterbacks right now in a bad quarterback league that are more interesting to watch than the GOAT in Patrick Mahomes. Another year of unwatchable football. You brought in Hollywood Brown. He's out for the year before the year starts. Rashee Rice should have been suspended. Wasn't. You caught a break. He looked electric to start the season. He's done. Travis Kelce looks washed. Isaiah Pacheco has a broken leg, and you're lucky if he comes back by the playoffs. Those of you fantasy gurus talking about 4 or 5 weeks, no. His leg is insanely injured. He's not coming back anytime soon. So now we're wait for it. We are excited about Patrick Mahomes handing the ball off to, Kareem Hunt, by the way. If you're wondering who Kareem Hunt is, if you just started watching football this year, he was really good 5 years ago. And this year was sitting on his couch waiting for a phone call, and the Chiefs brought him back because 5 years ago he was really good with the Chiefs. So that's what you're getting out of your GOAT and your best team. That's what you're getting. And the occasional once-a-game explosive play to Xavier Worthy, who pretty much is only good for that. He's not a 1 in this league. He's exciting, but they don't really seem that interested in targeting them that much. So here comes dinks and dunks to Travis Kelce and handoffs to Kareem Hunt. Good defense, though.
Yeah. You go over to the Chargers with another talent that I keep hearing is so good, but is slamming helmets against the ground and shit last weekend because yet again can't beat the Chiefs. They didn't spend any type of money or effort going to get any weapons for the kid, and it shows in a game like that where it's you're playing from behind. You can't just run it with J.K. Dobbins. Oh, and also your generational left tackle and right tackle, they're all hurt.
Yeah.
Again, everybody's hurt.
Yeah.
So, what am I supposed to do with this information? The Raiders, you rolled in without a quarterback, and you don't have a quarterback, and you look like a team who doesn't have a quarterback. So now your top 10 first ballot Hall of Fame wide receiver is now going to the ownership group and saying, hey, trade me. And your all pro level edge who has never missed a game last week. Something funky there. You gave $100 million to Christian Wilkins. He looks like shit.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure your coach is any good. And your OC is terrible.
I'm sure he's not good. I'm sure he's not a head coach in this league. And I mean, even like alienating your best player is like, it makes no sense. And Devontae Adams makes no sense.
Yeah, what are you doing liking
by the
Instagram comments about your best player?
Makes no sense. And then not addressing it with him directly, right? Like you knew he was going to see this.
Ridiculous.
Like what's the goal here? What are you 14? Like that's the shit that you and I used to do sophomore year of high school, subtweet each other and be like, one of my followers. It's like, what are we doing here? You're liking posts like disparaging your best player, like, and even like the roster construction makes no sense, right? Like you took a top 5 tight end prospect in last year's draft, top of the second round.
Yeah.
You come back around this year, you need a quarterback, you need a tackle, you need all these pieces, you need another defensive piece, and you draft another tight end. Okay.
Yeah.
So
you had your picks
team
at
build?
any of the defensive players though?
But that's my point. And I think Brock Bowers is great. I think Michael Mayer is great. It's like, what's the point of this? Like, what's the goal with this team? Like, Gardner Minshew is a backup. Like, that's what you brought in this offseason. I mean, Denver Broncos, is anybody interested in watching? Bo Nix had -5 passing yards in the first half against New York. I mean, what is that offense? What Javonte Williams cooked.
Stinks.
Cortland Sutton past his prime. Who are the other weapons on this team that anybody's interested in? Troy Franklin hasn't gotten much run. They don't seem interested in using Mims, who's their most explosive player. Bo Nix looks so incredibly boring, and it's not a knock. I think he's played okay. But
what's boring?
Is anybody turning on this team and being like, I can't wait to watch Bo Nix fling that thing behind the line of scrimmage 18 times? No,
not at all.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Chiefs, Chargers, Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes. That game was 10-17.
Terrible. Pathetic.
No refunds.
Two juggernauts.
And I live in LA. I know what those tickets cost to go to SoFi. No refunds. 10-17 Chiefs.
Yeah. Yeah, let's jump to the NFC. You got the North, who's probably the most exciting division of football, would you say, right now?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And even
the only
then,
division really showing up, I think.
Yeah, but even then, I could kind of I can't really say shit about the Vikings. Besides, I don't buy it. I'm 4 weeks in. I don't buy it. You guys could be 10-0. I'm not gonna buy it. I will buy it when you're hoisting that Lombardi Trophy, which you'll never will. So I don't buy it even kind of. I think it's fun. I think you guys came out the gates. I think people didn't expect this from Sam Darnold, which was silly because Sam Darnold always had this talent. He just was in the 2 worst situations ever: New York Jets and the Carolina Panthers. This is gonna fall off. I mean, it just will. I'm sorry. It was a good win against Texans. It was a good win against the Niners. Both teams kind of look lackluster. It's the same thing that we're talking about in this entire video.
You can't blame fans for bandwagon this team. Because it's all we have. They're the only team showing up and playing dominant football.
I'm giving the Vikings props. They looked like they were ready to play week 1, and it has showed. Yeah. They've gotten this huge lead. They're 4-0 right now. But then you saw the Packers kind of punch them in the face last week, and shit started to get ugly fast. And they ended up coming away with a win. It was a good win. I got to give them props. You were in Lambeau. They have a really nasty right hook that they come out the gates with, and they've been knocking teams on their ass, and then they're playing from ahead, and they're a really fun team when they're playing from ahead. The second you get down, it's going to get ugly. Sam Darnold will feel the pressure, and it will not be easy to play from behind. I promise you that. That is where
Right.
Sam Darnold sucks. Sam
Right.
Darnold has shown us this his entire career. When he plays from ahead, he's nasty. He's very good. Remember when he beat the fuck out of the Lions a couple years ago? They were rolling that game. He looked like a top 5 player. But the problem is the second he has to play from behind, that's when he starts making mistakes, and you will see that this year. That's not going
Right.
to work against all these teams, especially down the stretch.
Well, and the
Not
Lions-
to rain on your parade.
Yeah, well, the Lions look great, and then you get this other weird part with the Lions where it's like, what's the rush with the national media to move off of this team? Like, it's like, like
Oh, it's
this.
weird.
This is checking the boxes. Like again, man, product. What is the product? They showed up that game. Product, right? Like they showed up. Ford Field was rocking. Both teams played really well. Like Geno Smith balled, Jared Goff balled. Like that was one of the 4 games I watched this year, and I was like, what a game this is. Like it's been few and far between. And instead of the parade by the media, I turn on the usual suspects, and it's red flags from Detroit. This team looks sus on defense. I'm not buying it. The Seahawks were injured. It's like, why are we rushing to move off of this team? And again, it's one of the few teams I look at and I go, yeah, this team's looked really good, and they've looked good pretty consistently. So, and the same thing, right? Green Bay. It's like, I was really excited about Green Bay. Jordan Love has already missed 2 games. That team's 500. It's like, I'm not selling my Green Bay shares, but
0-2 with Jordan Love, 2-0 with Malik Willis.
That makes no sense. That makes no sense.
I mean?
But nothing makes sense this year. I mean, and again, I'm sorry to plow through those few teams, but we have to get to the I told you so. Chicago sucks. I told you.
They fucking suck.
I told you they would suck. We told you they would suck. They blow.
Yeah. It's a miracle. It's a miracle they're 2-2.
You have no offensive line. You can't run the football. You have a lame duck head coach that should have been fired. No offense to the guy. He seems like a good dude. Shane Waldron, not a real OC in this league. A rookie quarterback full of red flags who's overrated from the get. He's not generational. He does generational things, but he leaves the pocket before he has to constantly. He's throwing off his back. He's making throws that look cool but don't need to be made constantly.
100%.
Keenan Allen played 1 game. Roma Dunze, a rookie, struggling up and down. DJ Moore looks angry. Like,
pissed off.
This defense is good, but outside of that, like, what are we talking about with Chicago? And again, you and I never bought into the Chicago narrative. We were very clear from the beginning that we don't believe that Chicago is going to be this great football team. But let's not be dishonest here. The consumer was sold Chicago before this season started. And the people in the media, the mainstream people who are jumping ship now going, Chicago doesn't look very good. Chicago doesn't look very good. Shame on you guys. You told me they were contenders this offseason. I still have the videos. I have the receipts. Colin, Nick, boy who's joining FS1 from Chicago. I forget Parkins. Like, you guys all came on and said Chicago was a contender this year. And guess what? They suck.
They're gonna miss
and
the
their offense is
and come in fourth
unwatchable,
again.
and it's worse than it was last season significantly. They were better last year offensively.
Yep. 100%. 100%.
It's a joke.
Yeah, the Dallas can't stop a nosebleed. Offensively, they look completely out of sync.
Can't run the
There's
ball.
There's no run game. There's no run game at all.
Brandon's cooked. Brandon Cooks is cooked, by the way. He sucks.
Brandon Cooks is cooked fully.
Colbert's a nothing burger.
Yep. You have 1 weapon. 2 if you want to throw in Jake Ferguson. The O-line looks decent at best.
Not dominant.
No, not dominant. And Dak
looks decent.
Dak looks decent, but he's the highest paid player in the history of the NFL. He needs to look like fucking prime Tom Brady for that type of money.
No way.
And he doesn't even look like prime Dak Prescott.
No, he
doesn't
just
look
looks
like last year Dak Prescott.
No, he looks
He
like
looks
Brad
like
Johnson with a cooler logo on the side of his helmet. I mean, that's really what
Rich
he's
Gannon.
doing. He's
Yeah.
Rich Gannon. Well, Rich Gannon won an
Yeah.
MVP now. Like we're not.
Yeah,
but we're
it's true.
talking
Yeah,
like.
right. Let me
yeah.
not disrespect Rich Gannon.
Yeah,
right?
don't disrespect Rich Gannon with this quarterback play because it's mid,
Yeah.
bro. I mean, they
is mid.
squeaked by the New York Giants, and the New York Giants couldn't get the ball in the end zone. It's like, run away with this game. Why are we counting on a CeeDee Lamb broken play for you guys to win this? Like, do something. Somebody on some team, do something. I beg of you. Take the league. Mahomes sucks. Allen's inconsistent. Lamar's a fraud. We all know it. Like, somebody step up and take this fucking thing. And every week it's the same shit.
Yeah.
But go ahead, because the Commanders are the best team in the division
I was gonna
this
say,
year,
I was gonna say, it feels like the kid who's actually stepping up has no other offensive weapons around him, right?
Yeah,
and
he's so good, man.
He's making shit happen, and you know, you got Terry McLaurin, who's very good, but you know, the corpse of Zach Ertz, the corpse of Austin Eckler, that offensive line. I mean, it's not sustainable, you know.
Who's the two there? De'Ami Brown at wide receiver.
Yes, literally Luke McCaffrey, I think. You know, maybe.
Yeah, he's like a
two.
Yeah.
So Washington fans, be excited. You have your guy. You have your guy. You know, I can't believe I have to go on Twitter every day and watch Bears fans try to convince themselves that you know, oh, Caleb was still the right pick. No, guys, Caleb wasn't the right pick. It may you know, maybe if we get Caleb with the right coaching and the right OC, maybe we'll eat our words. But the problem is the McCaskies on that team. It ain't happening. They don't want. They didn't want to pay Jim Harbaugh. They didn't even want to interview Jim Harbaugh because he was going to cost too much. So you know what they did? They kept Matt Eberflus around and brought in Shane fucking Waldron rather than just bringing in Cliff Kingsbury, who worked with Caleb last year. Why didn't you just do that? You know,
and everybody said we were on an island, right, all off season with this. Like, this was a great hire. It was a great hire. It was a great hire. Like, look what this quarterback did last year. He can throw the ball downfield. He has vision. He has pinpoint accuracy. He has touch. He has timing. He doesn't run around unless he has to, and when he does, he's way better than the other prospects in this draft at running around. And it was obvious. It was obvious. But again, this is not to poo-poo the Commanders stuff. I'm excited because like I said, I was on the JD5 bandwagon coming out of college. I had to watch
anything negative about the Commanders. I think
no, there's nothing negative to say, but like you and I both know that this was not the team we were built, and it's like this 3-1 thing is exciting, but this is not a Super Bowl contending team right now from a roster perspective. It isn't. They're overperforming because their quarterback is really good. But this is also an indictment on the rest of the division, right? Like, how come Philadelphia can't win a game without their receiver? Like, Jalen Hurts, be top 5.
Jalen Hurts,
he sucks this year. He sucks this year.
If you were to have somebody who doesn't watch football last weekend, watch every game, and then say, who was the worst quarterback you watched play? Jalen Hurts probably would have been the answer.
Yeah, it's a long list.
That guy is the worst quarterback in the league. He is inept without his receivers, and that's crazy. Like, that's crazy. I know Lane Johnson's hurt. I know A.J. Brown's hurt. I know Devonta Smith went out with a concussion, but I mean, fuck, dude, come on. Like,
but again, it's
we're
more
talking about.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about you being. We've been sold by the people of Philly and some media that last year was fluky. You're still a top 5 guy, and if you're not top 5, you're definitely top 10, and everybody wrote you off and forgot about you. Well, this is why, because we all saw what it was. Your head coach and you hate each other too, which is like so apparent and so obvious, and everybody's just like, can we just be done with this project? Like, let's just be done with this project. It hasn't worked. You're not getting back to the Super Bowl. Jonathan Gannon's not coaching the defense, and Shane Steichen, most importantly, Shane Steichen's not coaching the offense.
But again, we're 4 games in. This was one of the top. This was one of the Clooneys. This was one of the Pitts. This was one of the Goslings that we were billed on the movie poster. You paid A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith this offseason. They're already missing games. Like, how is this the product in Philly? How is this the product? How is
Terrible.
A.J. Brown played one game? Devonta Smith missing games. Jalen Hurts can't play quarterback without those two guys. It's like,
Yep.
this is unacceptable. You guys were supposed
Yeah.
to be contenders. This is unacceptable. And of course, the Giants just suck. And actually, to give the Giants credit, they look like they're at least trying. They seem like the
Yeah,
only
they do.
team in the division besides the Commanders that are at least trying to win games. But they're bad.
They're bad.
So what
Yeah,
are we
they're
going to do here? It's a Malik Neighbors or nothing. It's 10 catches for Neighbors or you lose. And even then they still lose. They're just not a good enough team.
Yeah.
But I give credit to Dayball. He's not laying down and taking it. Daniel Jones is trying to play better quarterback. He's trying
Yep.
to keep his job. He got paid and he came out. He's trying to play. Jalen Hurts should be like, what are we doing, dude? Why are you getting outplayed by Daniel Jones? I'm sorry, man. I'm disappointed in that whole gambit of teams right now.
Yep. Understandably. NFC South. I mean,
More lies. Atlanta, more
Yeah.
lies. Hey, by the way, guys, I
Yeah.
got a lot of heat for saying that Kyle Pitts was a fraud. Has he played this year?
no.
Because I haven't seen him. Has number 8 been
No,
on the
he
field?
He must be on IR like the rest of the leagues.
Hey, when does Bijan Robinson have to have a big game for us to start calling him top 5? Because I haven't seen Bijan Robinson play top 5 running back. When has it happened? I'm go ahead, leave a comment below. When was the game that Bijan Robinson looked like Saquon Barkley or Derrick Henry or Josh Jacobs a couple years ago?
When was
Christian
the game
McCaffrey.
that Bijan Robinson looked like Jahmyr Gibbs?
Or Breece Hall last season?
Because it hasn't happened.
Or
this
Devon
year.
Achane last season?
I mean, it hasn't
we
happened.
haven't seen it. Drake London looks decent. Kirk Cousins looks okay. But again, doesn't it just kind of feel like Arthur Smith left his playbook in Atlanta?
Yes.
Like,
fully.
what are we doing here? What is this
Yeah.
offense? It's dink and
Yeah.
dunk. We're throwing to Darnell Mooney.
Yeah.
We're running the ball to Tyler Algier. This is not what were promised.
No, Darnell Mooney.
Shots to
like the
Kyle
one.
Pitts, Drake London, CMC Bijan year. Make it happen. We paid money for this.
No way. No way.
No, here's
way.
Cordell. No. He's in Pittsburgh taking carries away
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Najee. I'm sorry. I stand corrected. Here's Darnell
Tyler
Mooney
Algier.
slant routes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Darnell Mooney is getting targeted tremendously, especially in
Kirk
big
sucks.
moments too. Yeah, I mean Kirk can't move. He's 40 with a like Kirk couldn't move beforehand. I mean the Vikings moved off Kirk and they look way better. Like,
Ridiculous,
you
man.
know?
Ray McLeod's getting looks on third
Yeah.
downs. It's like, what are we doing?
It's insane, dude. It's
Kyle
insane.
Pitts has done nothing this year. Again, I
Nothing.
told you.
And we were
but I
promised.
wanted
this
to
is-
believe.
This was a must see team that was easily going to win the division, easily going to have 10 wins. And they're 2-2 right now, and they very easily could be 1-3. I mean, very easy. If Young Ho Ko doesn't kick a fucking 60-yarder or whatever it was.
Yeah,
It-
he's like the best
it's-
player on their team this year. I mean, I will
Like,
give credit to like Jesse
literally.
Bates and AJ Terrell. Both those guys have looked really good. Judon's looked good. The
Yeah.
defense has shown up. I think Raheem has them boys playing. But look, man, we could go down the list. Like New Orleans Saints. Look, we didn't think the Saints were going to be good. We came on here and ate humble pie after week 2,
No,
right?
but
What's happened since?
your Super Bowl parade after week 2 really rubbed everybody
Ridiculous.
else the wrong way, and
Yeah, the
Boy,
murders
it
have
came
gone
back-
back up, huh?
martyrs have gone back up, and Derek Carr's come back down. Classic.
Yes, he has.
Tale
There
as
he
old as
is.
time. Oh, you
There's
mean
my
Derek Carr
guy.
wasn't gonna play a top 3 quarterback level? Got it right. Yeah, that's not gonna happen probably the rest of the season. It's gonna be a lot of this, and you're probably gonna be like an 8-9 win team again because you are what your quarterback is.
Oh, and
you
just
know?
wait for our boy, who we love, by the way. This is not a shot, but just wait till our boy Alvin Kamara starts showing his age midway through the season.
Oh,
Then you're
when he
really
gets hurt?
cooked because you
Yeah.
have no outs.
Hamstring.
You have no backup.
Hamstring. No, it's
And
clear you're
again,
cooked.
it's like all credit is due. They looked really good for the first 2 weeks, and we did not come on here and player hate. We said pump the brakes on some of the victory lap stuff. But it's like, if you guys are going to be good, do it. Go do it. But
Well,
no, 500
and
football.
now
2 in a
we
row
also have-
loss.
we also have more context. The first 2 weeks they played the Panthers, who were, I mean, the worst team in the league probably. Like actually speaking, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think if the Jaguars and the Panthers played 10 times, the Jaguars would win 8 of those pretty soundly. And then you have the Cowboys, who also kind of suck and have a terrible defense that nobody expected them to be this bad. But their defense is not good. I mean, Micah Parsons looks like mid. Micah Parsons isn't even a top 15 defensive player this year?
No.
Top 20 maybe?
No.
I mean,
and again, I mean, to move it down the line, I told you the Tampa Bay Bucks would be the best team in this division.
Yes, period.
But you know what then? Then go ahead and be the best team in the division. Like, don't lose to Denver at home on some BS.
No, that's real.
Like, play it out, play it in. But like, again, we saw what Tampa, and this is not a shot. Like, we were high on Tampa going into the year. We saw what their ceiling was last year. What we were promised this year was Atlanta's ceiling. What we were promised this year, again, to move it down the line to the final team in this division.
Yeah.
The Panthers look better this year, don't they?
Yep. Once they bench
Except for with Andy Dalton.
Yeah, once they benched their quarterback who they traded their entire future for last year.
The number one overall pick last year that we were excited, new coach, new players, let's see what it is the worst quarterback I've seen play quarterback. And then you put in Andy Dalton, who none of us want to see. We moved on from Andy Dalton years ago. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, but actually he's better than Patrick Mahomes this year. So have we moved on from Andy Dalton, or am I a hater? I don't know, because I'd rather watch Andy Dalton and the Panthers right now play offense than Mahomes and the Chiefs, wouldn't you?
And isn't it so interesting that you have, you know, Bryce gets benched, everybody says, all right, he's a bust, blah, blah, blah. You had 4 teams call that day trying to trade for him. 4 teams.
Of course.
4 teams traded.
This team
trying
ruined
to
his
trade for him.
confidence.
And then you have Baker Mayfield going out publicly and going, Bryce will be fine. Bryce is going to be fine. He's young. He's got a lot of time. Just say what you want to say. Bryce will be fine once he gets out of Carolina, just like I did and just like Sammy did, because that is a toxic, shitty fucking work environment, and nothing can save it. Nothing can save it. You have to be Andy Dalton to win in Carolina. You know why? Because there's no expectations. Anytime there's expectations, it seemingly just falls right through. It's weird. There's something funky going on.
Don't forget the NFC injury. I mean, the NFC West, where we've also gotten nothing we were promised, because the only team that seems to be interested in playing super high-level football in that division is the Seattle Seahawks, because the Rams, who have one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now, if not the best so far this season, quiet as kept, can't win a game because Puka Nacua is hurt, Cooper Kupp's hurt. Neither of those guys have played all season. We got 1 week of each of those guys, and guess what? They're gone. So they have a corpse. They have Tutu Atwell and a bunch of nonsense. Tyler Johnson out there playing wide receiver. The only player they have left is Kyron Williams. So they're done. Their defense is horrible and injured. And San Francisco, I mean, Christian McCaffrey. He's out for the year, by the way. Media, stop doing this.
He's out.
Done.
He's out for life. I think he's out for life.
It's over. But that's another storyline we don't get. Can Kenny follow up last year?
No, I think he's done. I think he's done. I think he's never going to play again.
Right, but that makes the Niners less interesting. That makes the Niners out of this infallible thing. And Jordan Mason's been great. It's not to say this team isn't good, but like Debo's already missed a few games. Kittle missed a game. Christian McCaffrey not playing the whole year. That was the number 1 pick. How many Christian McCaffrey Lowe's commercials have you seen, or DoorDash commercials? He is the it guy. He was billed as the guy this year. He was the number 1 pick in fantasy. He was the best offensive player in football last year. Guess what? You don't get a single snap with him. Eat your slop. You bought it. No refunds. Sorry, Niners fans. No Christian McCaffrey all year. No Debo either. And by the way, Ayuk sucks. Thanks for paying him, though. What do you want from me, man?
It's crazy.
The Cardinals blow. Kyler Murray looks like he forgot how to play football. He can't hit a pass to save his life.
Kyler Murray looks like he fucking hates football.
He sucks.
Kyler Murray looks like he hates football.
He sucks,
and if you hate football, take your money and go home so we can all move on.
Yeah. The only guy on that team who seems like he gives a shit is James Conner. I mean, Marvin
Yep.
Harrison Jr. has been really good and fun to watch, but he disappears for 3 quarters because his quarterback can't hit him on a single pass. Trey McBride's been hurt. The defense is horrible. So, shame on us.
Defense sucks.
Yeah, the egg on our face for picking that as a dark horse contending team. That's not happening because your quarterback stinks, apparently. I guess he doesn't want to learn how to throw the ball accurately. I mean, he literally can't throw a back shoulder. It's like the most frustrating thing to watch. I cannot watch another week of this team attempt a back shoulder pass and Kyler Murray misses it. He's not good. He's been Trevor Lawrence with no height and faster legs. That's all he's been this whole year. Tired of it. Rant over. Fuck this fucking season. I'm tired. This is not what any of us paid for. And anyone who sees this and feels like we're hating, we are. We are, and you should be too. You should be mad. You should be mad if you bought all the stuff, if you bought into this, if you've been sitting your ass on the couch every Sunday, or like me, you have it on. You're watching all the games because you're not getting refunds on that package you bought. You're not getting refunds on those tickets you bought, the jersey you bought, that fantasy team you drafted. You paid your boys $100. Guess what? Your whole lineup's hurt. This is just not. This feels to me like being a Marvel fan after the Avengers and going, what are we doing? Another Ant-Man? Like, I'm going to the beach on Sunday. I'm done. I'm not giving my Sundays to this anymore. This is trash. And we just laid out why. Feel free to come in here and give us a hard time about it, but that's where I stand, and I'm not saying sorry.